Hey guys, welcome back to Flight Simulator. I've had a request from a friend to fly to Krakow in Poland. He's recently moved there and wanted me to fly there, so let's do that. So let's get up into the top corner there just to make sure that everything is good. Lovely. So I've been really enjoying this game, and I've been enjoying watching a lot of folks on YouTube do ridiculous things as well, like so many. This must be something that's been going on for I guess since flight simulators were a thing. People like having loads of ridiculous like cockpit setups. Like I say ridiculous in a positive way. I mean, you know, you do you, whatever makes you happy, kind of a thing. But wow, some of them they've got like flat screens all around them for each window and everything, and all the instruments, all the dials and stuff, and the switches up top. And this one guy had like all these motors that would like feeding like vibrations through everything, so it felt like you were actually in a real plane. One of them made me laugh. He had all this crazy gear and whatever, and he was just there in his proper weekend scruffs. I'm about to set off on some epic adventure. Okay, so just double check that I'm recording. I'm not used to OBS, so I'm kind of second guessing everything that I do. So we want to go to Krakow. Balice. Set as departure. Lovely. And we're going to go from... Where are we going to go from? Should we fly like over the Alps or something maybe? Should we go from... suppose if we go from Malpensa, maybe? Or is there somewhere a little bit closer? Locarno. I like the sound of Valbrembo. Let's go to Valbrembo. Sets departure. Flight conditions. Are we going to do it live as to what it is now? I guess so. Just keep everything as it is. Thing is, I'm a bit torn because I want to... It's quite a distance. I do want to see everything there. So if we're going a jet, then we'll be too high. Or you don't have to be that high, but we'll be kind of ideally we want to be fly quite high in a jet. So what was that one I was in? I think it was the one that the game started you off in, and it was really good, kind of middle of the road. The Daha TBM 930, I believe, is the one. Okay. So yeah, all set. Let's go. Yeah, so like I say, this was requested by Aaron, who's very recently moved to Poland, and he's been posting pictures and stuff, and it looks like a beautiful place. I've never been myself. I don't think I've ever been myself. I've been to a few places near Poland. I've been to Germany and Belgium and a few places. Generally, Northern Europe. If I've been to Europe, I'd love to go to Italy. Feel quite a connection with their food. Yeah, well, there's loads of places in there. I mean, the list is endless. Obviously, Japan's high on the list for me, with what with us learning Japanese and wanting to get a bit more into the culture there. But yeah, ready to fly. I think we are, aren't we? So let's take his brakes off, and I'll just nudge this map down a bit so it's under where my camera is. Hopefully that's a good guess. So brakes are off. Let's have some throttle. sod it, just go. Full on. Good old Valbrembo airport. Oh, we're going a bit skewy here, but I think we're about to take off, so we're alright. Oh, we've got a nice, obviously not very windy right now. Okay, and we need to turn around. Oh, we're stalling. Connection lost. That's not good. Hopefully it'll reconnect automatically in a moment. I know what this game's like. If you lose, sometimes it'll just crash the game when you lose your connection, which isn't great. So we've got the Himalayas in front of us. What am I on about the Himalayas? We've got the Alps in front of us. Geography, 10 out of 10. Okay, and then back a little bit. And we should be roughly on course. Hey, successfully connected, we like that. That's good news. Yeah, so it's probably going to be quite a long flight. Seeing as how ideally for this distance I'd probably want to go in a jet, but then we won't get to see the Alps and all that kind of stuff, so buckle up, basically. We're in for a long haul. Like I say, it does mean we get to see the sights. How do I change the trim? I really want to know that. Because we seem to be still climbing quite a lot. I want to kind of keep level heading at the moment. Or there or thereabouts level. Maybe just cut off the engine to about half. Beautiful. We can actually get rid of the map, what with it being... we've got this purple thing, haven't we, here, that can guide us on the compass. It's almost like a little mini game while you're flying. In fact, we can come back into the plane to check the map. That's cool. Never thought to do that. I forget how you move your view around the cockpit. But hey, you gotta love the attention to detail, like the scuffs on the leather and the general kind of worn feeling. Like it feels like relatively new and well serviced, but also quite worn, which I imagine the vast majority of planes will feel quite worn. There's all these buttons and fun things to play about with. Is that autopilot up there somewhere? Well, there's lights, but or is that autopilot on the top of the dash there? I don't know. Again, I'm no pilot. It's all about there. Beautiful. So, sunny day. Maybe a bit of haze, a bit of mist, or whatever. But yeah. Nice day over there at the Alps. I feel like we should drop down a little bit, get a bit closer to these here mountains. Oh, wrong button. Oh, we're just about to go too fast here. Just level out. Is it kind of automatically doing the trim, saying you're too low, we need to get higher? Is there like a... Have we set like a cruising altitude or something? There's a lot of things I need to work out in this. Find out how to adjust trim while I'm flying. Here we go again with the texting and flying memes. How to control trim, Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. Oh, Y and up or down? There we go. Maybe just at 0. Right, we're a bit off course now after that. Messing about with phones. Yeah, so I believe you can you have like a cruising altitude that's set. Maybe that's where maybe the trim when you leave it is kind of automatically set to just kind of get you to your cruising altitude. I don't know. Look at this though. Yeah. Beautiful. Makes you want to walk that ridge. It's a heck of a walk though. Flipping heck. That's probably... Well, it's at least all day to get from one side to the other of just this one ridge, probably. You would think. 'Cause it's flipping long. But the way the sun's coming up there. Beautiful. Let's go this way. You need a bit more power to get up here. I could have flown from Britain in a big jumbo jet, but I just kind of wanted to check out the Alps and then land at Krakow, kill 2 birds with 1 stone, you know. It's just... I was saying this when I was recording going down the American coast to New York, which sadly output the wrong resolution, so I won't be uploading that. I'll do it again at some point, but not straight away after doing it. But just the scale of things is on another. When you come from like a small island like us in all blighty Britain, stupid England, you gotta give it credit. It's not stupid, but I'm sure everybody feels like wherever they're from is a little bit stupid from time to time. But yeah, like other places in the world just seem huge, like America. But then America is kind of a bit deceptive because all of America, yeah, is ridiculously massive. United States of America, although massive compared to the UK, it's not actually that huge because Canada. Does Canada have more land mass, or like? Well, I don't know. It kind of looks like it on a map, unless it's other territories that are attached to Canada that kind of. But yeah, when you look at a map, actually, what is classed as the USA versus the landmass of America itself seems like, yeah, it's not the biggest percentage. But in any case, almost everywhere in the world swallows up Britain. Just the range of colours here is great. We do seem to have like a very distinct line there, which is odd. That can't be reality. Something's going on there. Now, what's that about? You are now leaving the greenhouse gas area. I don't know. It can't just be the... No, something definitely weird about that green line. But hey, I suppose AI can't get everything right, can it? Can have a good go though. I'm gonna get rid of my ugly mug here so you can just see. Double check that's worked. I'm gonna be super paranoid about OBS for quite some time. Thing is, if one setting isn't right, or if I press the button next to the one that I want, then the whole video's stuffed. So if it's a playthrough type video like this, I really don't like cutting bits out. Like there's a kind of video where that works really well, but I don't know, it's kind of something, it's like almost against the purity of the experience or something. Because like for some types of videos, it's really great to have like that kind of, especially like comedy stuff. It's great to have things cut up a lot, and you know, lots of editing and bits put in, like jokes and memes put in and stuff like that can really make or break those videos with that being done well or not well. Whereas when it's like a more kind of playthrough or straight up kind of gameplay video, it's almost like against, like, if you don't see everything, then you don't get the full experience. It's like if someone were to cut out all the deaths in Dark Souls or something like that, it'd be a very different game if you didn't see that, all that stuff. And you need to know going in that you're going to be putting up with a lot like this. Like Flight Simulator, like with its popularity, there'll probably be a lot of people who've never played a Flight Simulator game before, who are just thinking like, oh, that looks cool, and I can have a mess about with some planes and blah 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 blah. And yeah, to an extent you can, but kind of like there's a lot of different like levels of experience. You can have experienced pilots, or like, you know, enthusiast pilots who just want who plan out a proper route on the map first, like how it should, you know, because the way I do it, just kind of pick a destination and fly, isn't really how you should. I'm sure there's set routes and things that you need to follow, and all this kind of stuff. But we need to put on the gas. Ooh, and a nice little body of water here, hiding out. Yeah, so there's all kind of, but one of the things, no matter how you play it, really, is there's going to be long periods of time where you're just keeping a steady flight and checking out the scenery, you know. And if you're going in expecting action-packed, crazy gameplay and whatever, you're probably going to be disappointed. And it's not cheap. I mean, it is cheap if you've got Game Pass already, because it's free, but well, saying free when you're paying £3 or £4 a month isn't exactly bang on. And I'm sure that price will go up, because I think it's still kind of in better at the moment, the PC Game Pass. I'm wondering if they're going to change it once they release the next generation of consoles. If that's when like the PC Game Pass is going to change as well. Probably going to go up to something more like £10 or £12 a month or something like that, rather than the 3 or 4 that it's at now. Some nice pillowy snow. See a shadow down there. I'd be interested to know what frames per second I'm getting at the moment. It looks pretty smooth. There's not a lot of tearing or out like that going on. It does get a lot worse when you're in a heavily built up area there, like New York. Frames just went through the floor. Apparently Tokyo's quite bad as well for that. A quick update on the People's Favourite Games project that I'm doing, that I've talked about in previous videos, where I interview people about their favourite games and then play them and then kind of compare notes. I'm still on the second out of a potential 8 games, and it's to be honest, I'm enjoying it because it's a really good game, but it's very old and the controls are quite unforgiving, so it is a bit frustrating. But it's still a very good game and I'm enjoying it, but it's taking a while longer because I'm finding reasons to procrastinate, so so I don't have to necessarily carry on. But I will be trying to get as far on that after I've done this video. I'll be trying to get as far on that as I can today. Because it is one that I should really complete. Again, I'm not going to mention the names of any of the games I'm playing. It'll be so I can drop all that round about the time, either when I put the video up or maybe a little bit before. I don't know yet. Still a way off. Still excited about the project though, because I'm going to have a lot of footage to work with. Like obviously I'm going to be like presenting it, but then also have the footage from everybody's answers to the questions, and all the gameplay as well. The first game I've got like I think it was about 500 or 600 gigs worth of screen capture that's going to have to be cut down to about, I don't know, 20 minutes or so. So, but it's one of those things where you kind of like, I need to capture the entire playthrough so that I know for sure that I've got all of the important bits. Because if I don't know the game, I don't know when the important stuff's coming. about this though for a chilled afternoon, just flying across the Himalayas, checking out the peaks and the troughs. Little sound designer check for you there. I'm sure everybody's falling apart laughing. Something's beeping at us. Is it since I changed the trim? I wonder if that changes if Is it saying that we need to climb? Whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa. Certainly wants us to climb, doesn't it? It's still beeping when the engine's... Because we're not in the green speed-wise. I kind of want to test what things mean. So it's not speed. It could be altitude. This trim business is... saying we need to climb because there's mountains in front, maybe. Let's get some altitude then, see if that warning goes away. Flaps. No? I don't know what it means. Right, so we've gone above 10,000 feet. I've got two things. I don't understand. Right, that top thing stopped. It's obviously not good when something's beeping. I don't know what it is. Parking brake. Okay. That hasn't been on this whole time, has it? I don't think so. It wasn't beeping before. Shall we? Yeah, we've got a long way to go, folks. Don't look like it's loaded in right, does it? Farmland always looks pretty amazing from the air. How incredibly flat a lot of that flat area is with all these giant hills and mountains around. It's interesting. What happens if I turn autopilot on? Just curious. So he's got an engine to 100%. He's climbing. Take all the stuff off the hood while this is going on. speed charging. That's what you want. True music. Oh. Okay, so yeah, this is autopilot, so we could kind of increase the altitude. Oh, that's a bit too much, I think. Recenter, synchronize the current heading. Interesting. Well, I think I'm just going to go get a glass of water and then I'll be back shortly. And hopefully, autopilot AI, well, it's flying better than me so far, so that's all good. Keeping a bottle of water in the fridge was like the best thing ever. I think I've got this glass bottle here, Purdy's Rejuvenate, that was from a previous Tesco's meal deal, which is one of my standard weekend brunches. I don't tend to have breakfast. I don't tend to have lunch at the weekend, so brunch it is. Somewhere in between. A compromise, if you will. God, it's just such a graphical treat, this game. And we're back in control. Bit of wind there coming over the top. So apparently, engine on 100% the whole way. Fair enough. trying to see how true that is, because it's obviously not going to crash the plane, but it seems to me that if we have it on 100%, we automatically start going up. So let's test. So it's going to get to 10,000 feet, which is where I've changed the altitude to on the autopilot. Is it now going to slow down and level out, or what? I'll just keep flying. So just put the trim down 14%. Still climbing. I imagine though maybe just to get over this ridge. Well, this is certainly easier for me. Could just sit back and let it do its thing. Check the on map. So we're what, about a quarter of the way? Something like that. Whoa. Okay. I kind of broke the camera. How do I get it to lock back on? Whoa, okay. So in theory then you could go somewhere in front and then kind of watch it pass. Where is reset gone? Oh yeah, it's at top. Zoom. We need to get far away enough so that it goes okay. Try and follow mud off. Where are we? Oh. Okay, this is just as fun as flying. Whoa, look at that area over there. Beautiful. Zelam Sea. I see ya. Zelam Sea. Oh. Okay, cool. Did that kill some time? Oh, we may be a third of the way there now. yeah, credit to Aaron for making his way to Poland. I think it's quite a difficult thing to do, just up and move somewhere. I know, I mean, it's an appealing idea, but actually doing it is takes quite a bit of, you gotta have something about you just to be able to say, right, okay, yeah, I'm gonna go. And yeah, but it's just a really nice thought, because there's so much to see in the world, and it's so easy just to stay where you are and do what you've always done. There's a guy at work who always says, if you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you've always got. You'll always get what you've always got, which I find to be very true. And it's the definition of madness, isn't it, to repeat the same actions and expect different consequences. Oh, I suppose one of the definitions of madness that does get said a lot, and I suppose there's probably a lot more than just that. I wonder if it's a requirement to have autopilot on when you're actually flying a plane in real life. Like if you, I don't know, because you'd imagine there's really kind of strict rules in most places anyway about like you know making sure that your flight doesn't interfere with anybody else's, and everyone's look a little bit close to that mountain, don't we? You're going to raise up. Don't like the looks of this. What if it was like an anomaly and it didn't recognise that that peak was there and we just crashed in the middle of this flight? I thought I set the desired altitude to 10,000 feet anyway. Interesting. But yeah, I've thought about moving somewhere. I just don't really know where. And I'd kind of want a job before I left, which is probably the wrong way to go about it, I suppose. Because it's quite hard at the best of times to get a job, let alone if you're someone coming from another country. I suppose you could. There's quite a lot of opportunities for teaching languages over in other countries. Like you can get those kind of jobs from country that you're in easier than others, I suppose. I know another friend who's currently teaching I assume language to kids in South Korea. And, it must just be an incredible experience to just go somewhere completely different kind of immerse yourself in the culture and just find out what a different place is all about. Because I mean, you can get like a kind of you can get a sense for somewhere when you go on holiday for a couple of weeks or whatever. But I don't think you really truly know what a place is like until you've lived there for quite some time. When you get past the kind of like this is fresh, this is new kind of stage, and then you're doing, you know, trying to make a living and doing the normal kind of thing that you would do wherever you lived. I think it's not until you start doing that and like kind of day in, day out until you really kind of know what somewhere's about. It'd certainly be a shame if I were to live in the same place that I'd grown up for my entire life. Not that there's anything like necessarily wrong with that. It just seems a shame not to at least try somewhere different. I mean, obviously Japan comes to mind, but I'm far too far away from even being able to speak the language enough to even consider like kind of trying to figure out what day-to-day life is like before which I would kind of want to do before I made a decision to go anywhere. And certainly there would be there'd be a holiday or two or something like, or something to be able to try and get a better sense of what the place is like before actually going, oh yeah, I'm going to move here. And there's quite a lot about Japanese culture that I'm not sure about, and I don't particularly think upping up and moving somewhere is just going to be like it's not going to solve anything that's wrong with your own life unless there's some kind of really troublesome relationships with people, which I don't really have. I'm quite lucky in the fact that I only usually come across reasonable and nice people, so that's not an issue. And there is a lot that I like about the UK, but again, there's by the same token, there's a lot that I'm not so fond of with the UK. But the same is going to be true for anywhere that you go. You're going to get the breadth of personality types and just generally different types of people wherever you go. So it's not necessarily I'd want to move somewhere and stay there forever kind of a thing or whatever. More so just it would be an interesting experience, maybe for a year or for a couple of years or something like that, just to find out what, see if it gives you a bit of a different perspective on your life or other people's lives or just life in general. It's super interesting. But again, it is quite a difficult step to take. For one thing, you need a fair bit of money to make to enact a plan like that. You definitely need to have a lot more than you think, just in case anything goes wrong, or you end up having to spend a little bit of time without paid work, or and I think immigration can be troublesome anyway, like meeting the requirements to go living in a different country and work. And then what's the job market like there, and all these kind of things. How much does it cost to live somewhere? But again, it would be amazing. like we're coming to the end of Himalaya. Why do I keep saying Himalayas? Coming to the end of Alps territory. It's looking like it's getting a lot more flat on the horizon over this kind of area. Mitcheldorf. This sounds a little bit German. Are we in Germany now? I don't think so. Maybe. I don't know. I think we're about halfway now anyway. Fit that on the screen. Can we fit? Yeah, we're not quite halfway. Maybe by about here we're halfway, something like that. Well, it's difficult to know what to talk about, really. Definitely a nice relaxing way to spend an afternoon. But I'm glad I didn't have to, I'm glad it came with Game Pass, because I think as much as it's impressive and I kind of enjoy playing it every now and again, I don't think I would get the £60 worth of experience out of it that it costs brand new at the moment. And that's just the I think it goes up to 100 and something for all the extra airports and planes and stuff. But I'm sure they'll be releasing stuff for years to come. I suppose as well, one of the beauties of designing a game that works on map data is you can just update it at will. The map data gets updated, you update the game. You can maybe tweak the way that the AI renders things, and then you can specifically go in and edit certain cities and landmarks and things like that. So bit by bit, year by year, it gets better and better and better. And it's from a fantastic starting point anyway. Like if you are an enthusiast pilot or someone who's learning, I mean, you can't get a much better experience, really, can you? I know there's other flight sims out there. I can't remember the name of the one that people were using with all the crazy setups. But yeah. It's getting much more flat now. could go down and have a look at some of this here farmland. Careful not to exceed the speed of doom. So if I put the trim down, and that'll gradually get us towards the ground. It's a better way of doing it. Pull up a little every now and again to kind of ease off on the speed, or maybe we just ease off on the engine again. God, the trim is a game changer. And it solves like pretty much all the problems I was having before about trying to maintain the right speed at a certain altitude or whatever. anyone who's watching in the UK, happy bank holiday weekend as well. It's been that one extra day off work is just magic, just perfection, just exactly what's needed. It's well, I've been spending a lot of it just chilling out so far. Watched a bit of Peep Show and some Star Trek Next Generation, and a fair bit of YouTube. And there's been T90 has been doing a 24-hour stream. He commentates on Age of Empires games. And plays some himself and does all bits and bobs and whatever, but the 24-hour stream's really good. He'll do like a load of challenges and different events, and there'll be a load of pro players who'll come in and do certain things, but that was a lot of fun. Always is. His content is really, really good. Always makes everything super interesting. He's always always seems to have like endless energy. And he's a good embracer of memes, and generally just has a good kind of handle on the community at large, which is exactly what you need to be a successful caster in a competitive game. It's like amazing that Age of Empires 2 is still going so strong, like 20 odd years after it was first released. But if you want to check him out, he has some really, really cool stuff. I generally tend to watch him on YouTube more, only because Twitch can be a bit dodgy with like streaming, and it buffers a lot and all this kind of stuff, and it's just not as smooth an experience as watching you. But he's got a lot of content on YouTube as well. Check him out if you like any Age of Empires 2 stuff. He's fantastic. That's T90. T for Tango 90. But yeah, I need to watch my speed here. Don't know what this. I'm not sure. I think I'm just being an idiot. We got the speed. Let's get some height. Look at that, effortless. Oh. Switch it back to the old autopilot for a bit. We'll sort us out. He knows what's going on. Sorry, my geography's rubbish. I could be pointing out this river on the right here, couldn't I? And going, oh, that's so-and-so river. Starts from here, leads to there. Winds through the X, Y, and Z country. Blah, 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 blah. Something about rainfall. Curiosity. Where are we? We're definitely over halfway. still a fair way off though. I might have a flick through some kanji. So kanji are like the characters that make up, like the Chinese characters that were kind of edited to make up Japanese. And without a doubt, the most difficult thing, because each one has a specific meaning, and there's thousands of them. And so you can have like multiple kanji can be pronounced the same or very similar to each other, but mean something completely different. And you derive the meaning from the context and from the other characters around them and things of such nature. So it's really difficult. So like you've got the basic alphabet, which in theory you can use to pronounce to say any kind of word in Japanese. And kanji are kind of made up of one or more of the sounds of a letter in the alphabet, or a few different letters in the alphabet. And then you have I don't know, it's just very it's super difficult, but really interesting, because it's just so different to like a language with Roman characters. So the basic alphabet, the hiragana, like I say, you can use to say pretty much in theory everything, kanji and just the basic particles and other bits and pieces of the language. And then there's katakana, which is a lot more kind of angular. It's kind of similar. It's kind of similar to the hiragana alphabet, but it's used for like imported words from other languages. So Japanese there hasn't been a formal language in Japan for very long, comparatively to other places. So it's quite recent. Let me see if I can find where it tells me in this book. So the kanji, the Chinese characters that represent like individual things or concepts or whatever, were were adopted in Japan, like starting around about the 4th century. But the hiragana, let me see. So the specific hiragana that's in use today was laid down only in 1900. But they were first starting to be used in hang on a second, so let's have a look. So they started, these Chinese characters that they were using to represent the language were started kind of getting simplified from about 710 AD, and then there's another simplification around 1185 AD. And then and that kind of resulted in like a bank of characters that you could represent all the sounds of the Japanese language. So let's have a look here. Interestingly, it was first referred to as lady's hand because they were first used in letters and literature by women of the Heian or Heian period who were ignorant of the kind of Chinese learning and literature, which was quite like male dominated at the time. But then because of its because of it being simpler than the kanji, and like easier to understand it made it much easier to kind of learn the language from a young age, because you weren't being kind of bombarded with thousands of characters. You had like a standardized set of so that's kind of the very rough origins of hiragana. But like I said, the exact syllabary in use today was only kind of laid down in 1900 to make it easier for children to learn. And today there's 46 officially recognised hiragana. So, like, learning the hiragana is you know, it's relatively straightforward, because each one has a definite sound, or potentially two sounds. Like a few of them can be said a couple of different ways, depending on the context or where it is in a sentence. But most of them just have a single sound and represented by a single symbol. So you can you can kind of lay them out in a table as well, because you've got the 5 vowels a, I, e, u, o, and then there's how many? Maybe about seven or 8 kind of consonant sounds that can come before that. So you have your a, I, e, u, o laid out on the right, because everything's right, top to bottom, right to left in traditional Japanese writing. So you go a, I, u, e, o on the right side, and then the next column across could be the same, but with a K sound as the consonant there. So ka, ki, ku, ke, ko, and then so on and so forth until like you get. So there's those kind of basic hiragana, and then you kind of use this. You can use the same characters, but add two like kind of expression lines to the top right of a character to change the consonant sound further to ones that are maybe less common in the Japanese vocabulary, but still used very regular. So yeah, that's interesting. And then, like I say, there's the katakana, which is a set of symbols that, like I said before, are a lot more angular. Like the hiragana is quite like kind of swirly and kind of like soft round edges, kind of a font, I suppose you could say. Whereas the katakana is very straight lines orientated, and I believe that was the katakana was based on a further simplification of hiragana that was used when students were studying abroad, or when students were studying Buddhism, I believe. And so it's like kind of a shorthand, but then kind of came to be used as for words that were not in Japanese, in the Japanese vocabulary. So anything kind of imported from other cultures, which turns out is quite a lot. So yeah, I've memorized the hiragana. I'm kind of a little bit iffy on katakana, mainly because I just haven't seen them as much, and also because they're a little bit more simplified. Like there's four that are really difficult to tell apart from each other because they're very, very similar. And there's a few others that are very similar to each other as well. And it's the fact that you learn the hiragana and you think, right, and you get that kind of set in your head, and then you start learning this other table of symbols that have the exact same pronunciation as the first. So then it's kind of like almost in conflict with what you've learned before. But that's the easy bit anyway. So we're kind of on his way with that. And the one of the apps that I'm using to just kind of test, kind of learn new words and phrases and things like that, is starting to started a while ago to include some kanji. So I'm learning I kind of know a few kanji, some simple ones. Like there's some that are really, like, they're all kind of based, or at least vaguely in some fashion based on actually they're kind of drawn to represent something. So literally for 1, 2 and 3 it's literally 1 line across, 2 lines across and 3 lines across. So like it's quite, so some of them are quite easy to remember just because they kind of represent what they are. But then obviously, well, not obviously, it starts getting super complicated, because if you imagine if you had a symbol to represent fire, and a symbol to represent water, and a symbol to represent table, and a symbol to represent like, rather than having a combination of 26, I think it's 26 letters in our language, isn't it? Anyway, a combination of 26 things to represent everything, versus one single symbol to represent every individual thing or concept, or it gets complicated. So there's so many that you kind of I think it's a project that takes a lot of years to be able to start really understanding, because this is just learning it in the official capacity as well. So as well as how complicated it just is in general, then you've to add in like how different things look in handwriting, and then you've got things like slang and dialect, and super, like all of it so far has been super interesting. and like the app that I'm learning the phrases on will test your pronunciation, and when you get like a really long sentence right, it might take quite a few goes, but when you actually get it right and it recognises that you've said something quite complicated, it's amazing. It really is a lovely feeling. Because when you first start, it feels like beating your head, a little bit like beating your head against a wall, because it's what you call it. It's just like everything about it is new. You've got no kind of what am I looking for here? Reference point. It's like, here's all this stuff that you have no idea what it is. Remember it, you know. But there's another app that I found maybe a couple of years ago, and that's let me find it so I can tell you what it's called. Here we go. Tai Kim's Guide to Learning Japanese, and the good thing about this is it's kind of like it's a guide to how to learn it. So there's lots of useful tips and things and it makes you aware of a lot of things to watch out for when you are learning, because I think because of how complicated it is, a lot of apps and courses and things like this want to try and make it feel like you're learning in the fastest way possible, and you're able to say as many phrases as quick as possible, but really you kind of need to learn it from the ground up. You need to learn the grammar principles, and you need to learn punctuation and how things are written and why things are how they are. And so that I found that Tai Kim's Guide to Learning Japanese has been very useful in giving you a good framework to kind of learn off. So it advises the first thing to do before you do anything else, you need to memorize hiragana and katakana. So I did, and it's that whole kind of thing of splitting things up into easy chunks, and also he's saying you mustn't like put off learning kanji. It's much easier because you've got to do it in so many chunks anyway for your brain to be able to remember all of the different characters. The sooner you start learning those, the better. So a lot of courses will put off learning kanji until you've really kind of mastered hiragana and katakana. I can see positives to both ways of doing it, but like I say, that I just found that was a really good guide. But yeah, it's super difficult, but like anything that's worthwhile, if you put the effort in, then there will be reward at the end when you can understand something that there's something about the almost kind of poetic nature of a lot of it that really appeals to me. Like kind of, you know, when you get a load of memes where it's like bad translations of Chinese or Japanese, or you know, where I think the one that I saw recently and sent to a few people, that it's an old one, but very popular and just always gives me a little chuckle, and it's a keep off the grass sign. Let me get the wording exactly right to what was on the sign. In fact, I might be able to show it here. Yeah. So, do not disturb tiny grasses dreaming. I mean, come on, that's just fantastic. Let me see if I can just Hey guys. Oh. Hey guys. So I'll show you this. Bless it, the tiny grass, should I say. There's another one here. all grass has life, show mercy to fully please. Not sure about that one. I was sending a bunch of these the other day. That's a good one. But yeah, so point being, anytime you have like, let's get back to the flying here. Anytime you have like, what's it called? Sorry, I'm just concentrating on doing this here. Anytime you have a language that's based on pictures or symbols, it's so different that every time there's a translation of it, it feels like you've kind of missed something in the translation, or there's no real way to translate what they're saying. So I've always been curious as to, you know, like what is it I'm missing by not knowing this language? Because if you think about it, like, there's things that you just, like, if there's words for things in other languages that there isn't in yours, you just don't know of that concept. So it's like it's got to be one of the best ways to see things from a new perspective, or like open your mind to new things, like to learn a new language, or just the way things are structured, or the kind of what kind of language people use. And you know, apparently English is quite an annoying language to learn, just because it's there's kind of like a lot of different words you can use for the same things, and a lot of spellings that don't make any sense, which I can understand. And I think it's quite a harsh language as well. There's a lot of like kind of harsh sounds in English, with like lots of T's and all those kind of things. It is interesting. I like, you never really think about what it's like to learn your own language, because why would you? I can see this becoming like a bit of a therapy session, you know. Just desperately try to think of things to talk about, and end up doing a bit of self therapy, you know. I'm just trying to flick through some of these characters, see some that I know. Oh man, and days of the week and things like that are so frustrating, because there's one day is 3 characters, and the third character is always the same, but because they're so like some of them are so similar, it's just so hard to kind of know, to learn them in the way that I've been trying to learn it. So maybe I need to do something different. I've got a full like textbook that I really need to sit down and start doing, but again, just free time, you know. When I'm trying to run a gaming channel and also do music, that's completely out the window at the moment for now, while I'm doing all this gaming stuff. Recently it's I still play guitar and you know, have a bit of a jam every now and again, but I ain't like properly sat down to record anything since I released the last album. So there'll probably be a point when I've done this current project where I chill out on the gaming side of things and focus more on the music, because I don't think you can kind of effectively do both of those projects at the same time. So then add learning Japanese into the mix, and it starts to run out of time. But it's like I'm starting to notice if I watch anything on YouTube or whatever, like I'll still have subtitles on. Obviously, I don't understand the vast majority of what people are saying, but I'll be able to pick out like certain words or phrases. Definitely things like greetings and things like that are all starting to get set in my long-term memory now. How are we going? We're only at 10% fuel left. Definitely getting there. So that's LKMT, I guess. Or maybe not, because we're just about to go past it, and no, I don't think it is. I think there'll be another airport kind of that direction. But we're definitely getting there now. I wonder if these other lines on the map, I'm trying to discern if any of them, if they're all other planes. I wonder. I haven't noticed any other planes, but to be honest, I've been autopilot and just chatting randomness for most of it. There's also like just some differences in how you speak. Like a lot of the time in Japanese, apparently, there's things that you just don't need to say that are implied by the context that you would always, like pretty much always say if you were speaking English. This would be an example. Like say, for example, I'm going to get a drink could just be drink, or you know, stuff with tenses is a little bit different. Like there is a way to specify exactly how to say that, but you just wouldn't say it when you were speaking to someone. It's interesting. Like I say, it's going to be a long journey learning Japanese, but a fun one for sure. So now we should be kind of getting close-ish to where that LKMT airport is, whatever that is. But it's not letting me look at one, so maybe it's too far away, I don't know. Let's give back control now. See why people like get a flight stick or a yoke or whatever. I think just a thumbstick doesn't have the sensitivity of like an actual flight stick or whatever. So you can make much smoother movements. Oh yeah, but when I was watching a bit of YouTube as well, I don't know if it picked up that I was watching Peep Show on Netflix or what, but apparently there was a couple of pilots for Peep Show in America. So there's one that's had what's his name? Leonard from Big Bang Theory. He was playing he was Mark, but they'd just written Mark so badly, it was just not Mark at all. And the guy who played Jeremy, again, Jeremy was written as this like super kind of sporty, outgoing kind of person, and it was just awful. I forget the name of the YouTuber who was doing the videos, but he had clips from the show, and it was just so not Peep Show. It was unbelievable. There's a lot of airports around here. And then I think, what was that, about 2004, 2006 or something like that. So it was before Big Bang Theory. Before, but I don't think anyone else from that pilot had success like he did. And then there was another one that was actually, maybe it was about four or 5 years after that one or something like that, but was actually written by the guys that wrote Peep Show. And that one was a lot more, as you would imagine, like Peep Show. The first attempt, they didn't even do the first-person camera. I think there was like 2 shots in the entire pilot that were first-person. One of like opening a door, and I can't remember what the other one was. But yeah, so they like they did, which is just, how can you do like Peep Show without having the. And they called it Peep Show as well, it wasn't like something under a different name. How could you have that without like the most distinguishing part of Peep Show, which is the way that it's filmed? Like that first person camera thing with the inner monologue, is Peep Show. That's what makes it stand out from, well, that and the humour, I guess. But there's been things with similar humour, but there hasn't been things that have been filmed in that way, or at least that I'm aware of, or at least that have done it as successfully as Peep Show did. But yeah, there's so the second one did have that, and both of these pilots, they were kind of amalgamations of ideas from early episodes of the first series of Peep Show. And the second one pulled it off a bit better. Mark seemed a bit more like Mark, and Jeremy seemed a bit more like Jeremy, but again, they're a little bit over the top. But that one actually worked quite well. It just surprised me that they even tried it, because it didn't seem like it would be a concept that would fit American humour very well. I know there's a whole bunch of different types of American humour, but I don't know, there's just something very distinctively British about Peep Show, about that kind of inner insecurity kind of comedy, and lots of like I suppose The Office, just like the level of cringe is just not acceptable for, like, the American Office is really different to the British one. That actually works obviously very well, but it was still different to the point of, I'd say it was definitely a lot more zany and a lot more kind of like, I kind of want to say slapstick, but yeah, maybe slapstick's the closest thing I can think of at the moment. It was a bit more slapstick than the British one, which was a lot, like, the British Office was super kind of gritting your teeth, kind of, can you even bear to watch it, because you're so embarrassed all the time. In fact, on the pilot for Peep Show, the first one, the American one, there's a lot of, anytime there's any embarrassment, there was a lot of like music playing, so you kind of like, they were trying to cover up the where you get the kind of the whole ambience for that show, which is these guys are these guys are being incredibly embarrassing, you know, and they're really unsure about themselves, and they're failing with personal relationships with everybody because of their own neuroses and all this kind of stuff. Is that our airport? I don't know if it is or not. I thought it was called something else. I don't think it is. I think we're too close. Yeah, I think we're going somewhere past there, I think. Okay, so I'd filled up my hard drive with that last recording, so there might be a little bit missing out here, but hey. Like I say, still messing around with the settings on OBS, and I'd pick the last video that I tried recording wasn't the best quality, so I picked lossless, and then I'd convert it down to something that I put on YouTube after the fact. So maybe I need to rethink that, because that video up to there was like 200 and something gig. So yeah, so I just spent about 10 minutes just copying that over to a different drive, and I'll glue these two videos together and bob it out anyway. But yeah, yeah, that wasn't our airport. Still a little way to go yet. If you've noticed, I'm trying to kind of decrease altitude a little bit, kind of prepare for being somewhere near landing. We are still a reasonable distance away, but we're close now. You can almost taste it. Should we go down a bit lower anyway, check out what's around us. We don't want to go too fast though, because it'll crash. So just off camera there while it was transferring the file, just did a little bit of brushing up on some Japanese. Fun times. Yeah, I knew this was going to be a long flight before I set off. But like I say, I kind of wanted to see the Himalayas, so I didn't want to do it in a jet because it would be a bit too high up. I mean, you probably can go quite low in a jet, but it's just the speed becomes an issue. It starts giving you a load of warnings if you're going over 250 knots under 10,000 feet, which is very easy to do in a jet. Look at the detail, man. Imagine if you saw something like this when you were a kid playing, like, I don't know, Mario on your SNES. I think you just flat out refuse to accept that it could exist. Awfully close now. good if there was something that told us which kind of direction the runway is. I'm sure there is something that kind of leads us to the runway, but so I think we reduce the trim down now because we don't want to be angled down when we're landing. We want to be angled up if anything, but we can do that with the flaps as well. Zatar. Wherever Zatar is. There's a lot of nice little lakes or something here. I wonder if this is looking familiar to my my mate over in Poland. Beautiful. You could live in any one of these. But I'm sure he doesn't. I'm sure miles away from wherever we are. Oh, I see some lights. They look like they're angled in to go left to right there, so let's bank left a little bit. Right, Aaron, where's this where the river meets the circle of water? Like our landing strip. Landing gear out. Landing flaps up. Do you want to go the full way? Keep coming down on that throttle. I'm trying to be as gentle as possible. Balice. Pull up. Calculated. Brake? Much parking brake? Yeah. And we're down, ladies and gents. Again, it wasn't perfect, but it was at least a lot more controlled than my previous attempt. Oh, look at that. Let's get rid of this hood. No. Oh no, let me zoom there. Oop. Oop. Beautiful. Well, here we are in sunny Poland, in Balice, in Krakow. Kind of want to try the landing again. I really want to get a landing where we don't come back up. So let's just try it one more time. Start the engine. Is it giving us fuel warning? Woo. Oil pressure. Where's the ignition? Parking brake. Flaps. Trim. Turn AC on.
Auto warning, okay.
How do we even turn the damn thing on? What are we doing here? Flaps. Okay, maybe we do this another time. I don't even know how to flipping turn the engine on. Oh. Oh no, it's flaps. I thought I had it then for a moment.
Landing gear. Landing gear.
No, it's not gonna happen. Anyway.
Landing gear. Landing gear. Landing gear. Landing gear. Landing gear. Landing gear.
So, landing gear. Anyway, thanks for joining us on this mission to Poland, and I will catch you guys in the next episode, whatever it may be. Alright, see you in a bit. Bye. Bye.